Hello, everybody. We are finally here. I'm so excited. Guys, welcome to the final ever season of the PUDL. This is rad. We are here with the New England Roggenrola's draft breakdown for the final season of the PUDL. If you did not know or have not heard, the PUDL, which is run by my very good friend BP and a bunch of other of my very good friends who are also in the VDL, we are merging. The PUDL is being absorbed into the VDL next season, which is like a ways away because we have that ZA break as well. But they were like, let's do one final ride in their Discord server, and I was like, okay, I was part of some of the original Wi-Fi seasons for them, so let's jump back in and rock it. And I say this every time. I think I drafted one of the greatest teams in the league, and it's not just me saying it this time. Other coaches are agreeing. Here's the thing. I have been playing draft now for, not like obviously not a ton of time, but enough to where I'm starting to pick up what I'm good at, what I'm bad at, and I am horrible at hyper offense because I've never really tried. So that is kind of what I was going for this draft. I said, let's just have a lot of fun, let's pick up a lot of kills, and hyper offense still seems like it's the way to go in Scarlet and Violet and Paldea decks right now. So I wanted to rock it. However, I went in with a plan to draft weather. I've never used... Oh my goodness. Excuse me, I have hiccups. I've never used a genuine weather team. I had a Ninetales at one point in time, but it was bad, and Ninetales sucks, and I dropped it like week 5 for a Chandelure, and Chandelure was immediately better. I wanted to draft weather, and I didn't want to do sun, because, sun works great with the Paradox Pokemon, but I feel like it's unreliable. Didn't really want to use sand, because Pokemon like Excadrill and Houndstone, that's one, are cool, but I don't think are great. And Snow was very interesting to me. I did consider that with Pokemon like Alolan Ninetales and Beartic and like Raging Bolt with Weather Ball type things, so I get Bolt Beam spam. But guys, I went Rain. I'm going Rain. And I'm telling you this now, before I tell you my first pick, because we're not getting our Rain to pick 9. I just wanted you to know all of my picks were based on the fact that I was trying to go partial Rain. But I didn't want a team that solely relied on Rain. I wanted a hyper offense focused team that worked great inside of Rain and was a great team outside of Rain as well. So a little bit of housekeeping for like league rules. It is 10 Pokemon exactly, no more, no less. We had a budget of like 110, 115, something like that. I think it was 110. Not exactly sure. And Terra rules, where we, in the PODL, we're going back to choosing the Terra types. You can have up to 3 Terra captains, adding up to a total of 25 points. So you are able to only have 1 if you'd like. And you can get Terra captains all the way up to 18 points, barring a couple exceptions, which I thought was crazy. The caveat is, I don't remember the exact one, maybe it was like 11 points below, not sure. Any Pokemon from some amount of points to 18, you could only have 2 types, one included a stab. So like those 15, 16, 17, 18 point Terra Captains that are really, really good could only change into one of their stab types or one different type and no more, which I thought was very limiting, opposed to the stab type plus 2 other types for the lower point Terra Captains. And so I was looking at that, and I knew there was a bunch of good potential Terra options that I didn't really want other people using, but I knew I'd be okay with using without Terra. So I also kind of had that in the back of my mind, but we are not going to dilly-dally any longer. Ooh, that's pick 2! Haha. Well, I guess you guys get to see pick 2. We picked Archaldon. Pick 1, guys. That's so embarrassing, but that's really funny. Guys, we got Arch, round 1. I'm so excited. I have never used this Pokemon. I've used it on Ladder, of course, and Ubers, because I think it's really fun there, even though it's not great in Ubers compared to, like, Dialga. And it is better in circumstances. But Arch I've never gotten to use in draft, and I think it is awesome. Steel and Dragon is a fantastic typing. It is 17 points, obviously there's a lot of points. But stat-wise, this Mon is just incredible, right? 90 base HP, 130 physical defense on the physical side. Only really being weak to, like, fighting and ground are the 2 main ones. And, in fact, those are the only 2. Right, those are the only 2. Um, is incredible. Now, we don't have good special defense, but this is one of the best assault vest users in the format. Being able to run like Draco, Electroshot in the rain, Flash Cannon, and then move of choice, whether that's Dark Pulse, whether that's Dragon Pulse, or even like Stomping Tantrum. It gets if you do want to run physical, because it has 105 base attack. But with 125 special attack and great bulk all around, this thing just hits so hard without dying. So I'm going hyper offense, but I wanted to go a bulkier version of hyper offense to where I don't need to bring like defensive EVs on Pokemon. I can run things super offensively, and I'm still living a hit or two every now and again. So it is 85 base speed, which is actually a very solid speed stat while being this bulky. Because I can throw a Scarf on there, and I'm outspeeding 120s, 115s. I think I'm outspeeding 100. Yeah. Am I outspeeding 125s? Yeah, I am. I can go modest, actually, which is crazy. Like, I can throw a Scarf on there, and I'm outspeeding Weavile, which is nuts. But I can also go, I can go AV, I can go Sword Stance, I can go, like, bulky leftovers with, you get Stealth Rock? Yes? With Stealth Rock. This mon just, like, it does one thing very, very well. Assault Vest offense. It does a lot of other things still very, very well. And it has, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 9 resistances? No, 8 resistances and an immunity to poison, which is ridiculous, right? Obviously, I don't like taking Moonblast from things from fairy types. I don't like taking Fire Blast from really offensive fire types. But we're pick one, baby. And in rain, I'm not super scared of the fire type. So you guys know what Arch does. This isn't going to be super in-depth draft breakdown, because you, at this point, hopefully you guys probably know about what these Pokemon do. Oh, excuse me. You guys know what these monsters do, so I just want to tell you that I got them, and then I'm excited to use them. Next pick, you already saw it. We got the Ape. We got Georgie for 18 points, and this is not one of our Terra Captains. This was available for Terra, and it is a very good Terra Captain with Terra Ghost to boost up the Rage Fist, Terra Electric, Terra Ground I see a lot. I do see also Terra Fighting. I see Terra Steel, Terra Poison, to resist the Fairy type moves, but we are not using this as a Terra type. I felt it was just a little bit too limiting to only have 2 Terra types on this specific Pokemon. Pokemon like Enamorus were allowed to have 2 Terra again. It's again only 2 points, but that's are 2 Terra types. But that one you can go one of the stabs, either one is great, and then Terra Stellar. Like, that's fine with it, and you don't need an extra Terra type. This one, I felt like if we made it a Terra Captain, I wanted to have Water in my arsenal. I wanted to have Electric in my arsenal. I wanted to have Steel in my arsenal. And then it also, like, on top of the Stab type, which was a requirement to have a Stab type. So, I didn't get it with Terra, but as a mon in and of itself, this is probably the one I am the least confident I'm going to use successfully, but one of the ones I'm excited to use the most. So it is a fighting ghost type. It has 110 base HP with 80 and 90 in its defenses. So again, relatively bulky. I'm not going to say really bulky, but it's very bulky for a Pokemon that has 115 attack and 90 base speed. This is a Pokemon that's going to be able to hit very, very hard and live, again, a hit or two. I'm living Moonblasts from and I'm only using calcs from what I see on my screen, which is my first round matchup, which we played in Amherst. I'm not going to tell you about it, obviously, but like with the right EV investments, we're taking Moonblast from Enam. We're getting the Rage Fist boost, which we do have access to. It wouldn't be 18 points if we didn't. And we are hitting back for tremendous damage. Speaking of Rage Fist, having Ghost type stab along with close combat, along with Drain Punch, is just that is almost perfect coverage. We're hitting the dark types that Ghost resists. We're hitting the normal types that that Ghost is immune to. Same with we're able to hit the Ghost types that fighting types can't hit. I think this is just a really, really cool mon that works great defensively too if I need it. It gets U-turn, and 90 base speed is a really good U-turn number because I can be faster than some of the slower, bulkier Pokemon, and I can get myself into an offensive check while breaking a Sash, while breaking a Marvel Scale or something from Dragonite, while just doing a little bit of chip onto like a Quagsire that has leftovers or whatever. I don't know why I thought of Quagsire. It just did. Or I'm slower than those base 95s, base 100, base 115s, and I'm getting a great pivot option out there. Now, we are very weak to Fairy types in our draft right now. This is weak to Archaludon. Yes, offensively is good into them, but doesn't want to take fairy type hits. We don't resist ghosts right now. And ground types are kind of hard to deal with, but outside of those three, these two already work very, very well together. Archaludon is resisting the psychic type moves that we are weak to, alongside the flying type moves. We are immune to the fighting type moves that Archaludon doesn't like taking. We both are resist or immune to normal and poison, both resist rock. Like dark types and dragon types, yeah, like we can deal with that later though. I think Ape is great. Oh, I mentioned Ape gets rocks. Sick. Dotemon. It's really cool. Next, we got Cinderace. Another mon I've never used. All three of the... Actually, there's only 2 Pokemon in this draft I've used before. Cinderace is really, really cool. This is... I think... I mentioned I was unsure about Annihilate, but this is the Pokemon I'm the most unsure about. I don't love Ace in draft. I think it's a little bit unreliable because a lot of the moves that is high damage output are inaccurate. Gunk Shot, Pyro Ball. No, I mean, those are the 2, but... Outside of that, it's very valuable. Hazard removing is not easy to find if you're going for super offensive Pokemon out the gate, like I have been. And I'm not, so I'm not picking up the Great Tusk. I'm not picking up the Iron Tread. I'm not getting the Corviknight. So hold on. Finding good removal is not an easy process. Oh, I really hope. What did I just do? I just like mixed everything around in my OBS. Okay, I really hope it's the right mic. It is. Okay, phew. But Court Change gives us not only technically removal, but gives us a way to punish, not just remove hazards on our side, but punish my opponent from setting hazards. There are going to be Pokemon that can traditionally set hazards very easily that are not going to want to, because they don't want to set sticky webs back on their side. They don't want to have rocks back on their side. So I'm able to draft a team that's relatively hazard weak while like comfortably, right? Now, talking about Cinderace itself, 119 speed tier is fantastic. We hit above that 110 mark, and we hit above that 115 mark, which I think is actually more valuable to hit above than that 110 mark. 115s are great, but like there's a lot of those now, so being able to be above that is fantastic. With a 116 base attack stat and Libero, right? We can change typings. Fire type is very strong, but not in a rain core. So when I can become a poison type and still resist the fairy type that Cinderace normally resists, and now I'm doing super effective damage to it. I can become a normal type, and now I am immune to ghost type stab. I can become a fighting type, and now I am resisting other stuff. I don't know where I was going with that one, but that's fine. And Cinderace also, don't sleep on its bulk. It's not here to be a Pokemon, but 80 HP and 75 in both of its defenses is not something to like laugh at, right? Compared to some other fast offensive Pokemon, this is not like a glass cannon. I can take a hit here or there when I need to, fire off some damage, and then I get a U-turn off, and then I get a Pyro Ball off, and then I get a Court Change off, right? I think Cinderace is going to be really cool. I don't think I'm going to bring it a ton, if I'm honest, but I think having it in team prep is going to be almost more valuable than actually bringing it to each game, and I can bring it, and it's going to be very strong. Next pick, the pick I am by far the most excited for. Guys, we got Kilowattrel. We got, it's actually Big Toast. I messed up a lot of these nicknames in this, but that's fine. Guys, we got Big Toast. We got Kilo. Oh my god, Kilowattrel is just moving so fast. It's so distracting. We had, this is Terra Captain, by the way. We had Terra Kilowattrel in the PUDL last time we competed. We struggled in that season. A little bit of luck, a little bit of just bad play. But I think Terra Kilowattrel for 9 points is ridiculous. Now, we did have to choose 3 Terra types, so we chose the Terra type stab of Flying. I actually think I chose the same types as I did last time. The stab type of Flying, we have the additional typing of Ice, so now we have Electric and Ice Bolt Beam covered. And we got Terra Water. Terra Water is great with the Volt Absorb ability, so now we are a water type that's immune to electric types, and we threaten flying types with our flying typing, air/hurricanes in the rain, etc. Plus, now we have water type weather balls that are boosted in the rain, which that's going to go crazy. People are going to sleep on how hard that's going to be able to hit. I can become like essentially a faux version of a bulky water because I'm immune to electric and scare off grass types while dealing tons of damage, and I've got 125 speed. This is a second Pokemon that breaks not just that 110 mark but that 115 mark, and a Pokemon that typically struggles because of its higher power moves are inaccurate. I don't have that problem in rain. Thunder, 100% accurate in rain. Hurricane, 100% accurate in rain. can't miss, not even 100% accurate. And now I have Weather Ball options that I can bring even if I'm not going Terra Water to threaten out those ground types that want to take the electric type moves. This mon is going to be ridiculous this season, I promise you. 105 special attack, like really bad bulk, right? 70 HP, 16 both defenses, and 70 attack. I'm never going to use the physical attack stat. This mon's going to go nuts. People are going to be scared of it, but are not going to prep enough for it. And I'm going to get the rain off. I'm going to throw on a Specs or a Scarf, and then I'm just going to click Hurricane like 8 times and pick up some kills. Next, also, like, I had nothing to say there. Ursuluna Blood Moon. Another Kilowattrel I used before. We're going back to a mon I've never used before. This mon is rad. It was 18 points. This Pokemon's not named Lufa? Why is this one Lufa? Guys, I'm going to edit this live. Hold on. Guys, welcome Dirty Chai to the team. It was Delegate, but now it's Dirty Chai. Ground Normal type. 1. What does it give me? Electric immunity. I didn't really need that. I already had one. But it gives me a Ghost type immunity, which is fantastic for Annihilate. So that's great. 2. I have a 135 base special attack stat and Blood Moon. That's kind of all I need. Blood Moon is hitting Ghost types as well, by the way, which is stupid. I have Blood Moon, Hyper Force, Earth Power, Vacuum Wave, Assault Vest. I can bring that literally every single week. Max special attack, max HP, and I've succeeded. That, like, he has other options too. He has Moonblast, he has Moonlight, he has Calm Mind. I don't need that. Blood Moon, Hyper Force, Earth Power, Vacuum Wave. I win. Super, super bulky, offensive special attacker, almost exactly like Archelodon. But they go very nicely together. Now they are both weak to fighting type, yes, but we have a Kilowattrel that scares out fighting types. We have a Cinderace that can turn into a poison type very easily in Gunk Shot. We have a Ghost type. Like, I think our typings are just coming together very, very well right now. It's a Pokemon I can lead, I can keep in the back, I can just do a ton of damage, and I'm picking up a kill almost every single time this is out. We have 113 base HP with 120 defense, very similar to the Archelodons in defense, and actually the same amount of special defense in 65, but this is an even better Assault Vest user because we have a better HP stat. And we do have, like, 70 attack, which is, like, I'm not going to use that, but again, it could be good. 52 speed stat, so it is really slow. But that's actually not as bad as you'd think. There's a lot of like 40, 45 base speed Pokemon that are super bulky that we're actually going to be able to outspeed, and we can Blood Moon into a Hyper Force and theoretically pick up kills, even if we have to invest a little bit of speed. There's going to be like really bulky, slow Assault Vest users. Think of like Pokemon like Vikavolt. We're going to be able to outspeed these things if we put a little bit of investment into, and we can smack them. Like Blood Moon is killing that Pokemon. Blood Moon into a Hyper Force is killing that, even if it's Assault Vest. I think this Pokemon could theoretically be the second kill leader on a team besides Kilowattrel, which is awesome. It's just, and look at it, it's sick looking. He's just dope. He's cool. Next, guys, we got Lurantis, and this one's not Dirty Chai. All right, let me see. No, well, I've messed up everything. Guys, this one has the best nickname. Guys, it's Lawn and Order. It was Ricka Ricka. She's over there. But now it's Lawn and Order, which I think is really funny. We are going to use a shiny one, by the way. First off, you may have noticed we have a very bad special defense stat. This is our highest special defense mon, alongside Annihilate at 90. That is the biggest weakness of this team. We have very bad special defense. We have fantastic Assault Vest users. Archelodon, Ursaluna, Annihilate, even Cinderace, if we really want to, can be great AV users, but that's a problem. But going back to Lurantis, I needed Defog, right? I didn't want our only removal to be Court Change, because that's just relatively unreliable, and I can't bring Cinderace every game. But I still wanted Defog, right? Even though I'm not super afraid of hazards, I wanted to have that option. Kilowattrel still doesn't like hazards if they get up, and if it's a game that I don't bring Cinderace and they do bring hazards, like, that's a problem. Lurantis is here to do that. Stat-wise, Lurantis is like okay. 70 base HP and 90 in both the defenses is fine. It's not great, but it's okay. It is like technically a little bit better than Cinderace, which is good. And we do have 80 special attack and 105 special physical attack, so like I can hit relatively hard with some good coverage. I have things like Leaf Storm, Superpower, Knockoff. But we get contrary. Leaf Storm's going to be raising our special attack. Superpower's going to be raising our attack and defense with a 120 base power move. And you know what? We went with this as a Terra Captain as well. Because of the point with Kilowattrel being 9 and this thing being 6, we're actually going to get a third Terra Captain as well. And we have Terra points left over, which is crazy. But we were allowed to have up to 3. They had total up to 25 points. We are well under that number. And I think I got 3 of the strongest Terra Captains, not just for value, on the board. This is probably the weakest of the 3 in my mind, but it's still very, very good. Terra Grass with Contrary Leaf Storm, that's going to blow things back if you don't have a good resistance. What are your resistances? Steel types? I'm going to hit you with a physical offensive superpower, raising my attack and defense. I think that's rad. We also have Terra Electric, so we're not super afraid of flying types. We can go Terra Electric, Assault Vest, Leaf Storm, Superpower, Terra Blast, knockoff. And that's like a really, really solid moveset. Like, obviously we're going to struggle gaining HP, and this Pokemon is very slow at 45 base speed. That is not a good speed stat. But we're going to be able to, like, switch in, take some hit, deal off a ton of damage, really threaten stuff out, and I'm going to force my opponent to have to attack me rather than taunting, rather than setting up, rather than setting hazards. I'm going to force him to hit me, I'm going to live an attack, and I'm just going to blow things back for then Kilowattrel and Cinderace to come in and clean late game. This team is all, like, built around this strategy of how much upfront damage can I do before my sweeper can win. Oh, and we also have Terra Steel, which I think was cool. More so because I really liked it in the rain. I'm not 100% sold on that one. I was considering Terra Stellar, because Terra Stellar Contrary is pretty good, but on slower Pokemon, I do find it to be a little bit worse, because I still have my Grass-type weaknesses. Terra Steel is, like, not helping with any of my Grass-type weaknesses, but is still really solid in the rain without being weak to Fire, and then ground types that would then beat that are afraid of my Grass-type moves, which I think is a relatively strong counterbalance there at that point. So I think that's going to be cool. It's going to come to like 1 or 2 games as a defogger, maybe as an AV Contrary user. It's a very strong mon, but it was only 6 points. That was a big thing for me here, right? I have a fire water, a fire grass core going, and now we're going to get a water type in our range setter. I'm not going to tell you which one yet. We're going to get a water type later down the line, as you must have assumed at this rate. So we have a decent, not a great, but a very decent fire, water, grass core going. We also do have a dragon steel core going with only Archaladon. Guys, we're going to get a bad fairy type. That's fine. We don't need one in a rain core. And all of these pieces, again, these 6 Pokemon can come without rain and be very strong. And in rain, just even stronger. All right, next pick. Overgrowth, Oingo, which is not Oingo, nor is it Law and Order. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I don't know how this happened. This one is Lufa. There we go. Live editing. We got Lufa, the Overqwil. This is probably the weakest member of my team. I would say. However, we have the ability at some point, if we find that we're never bringing Lurantis as a Terra Captain, we can switch the Terra to Overqwil. We have enough points to do that with what our third Terra Captain is, and we'll stay under the point limit. And he does get 3 Terra types, which is fantastic. So I feel like that might be happening at some point if we aren't finding the Terra Lurantis to be as valuable as we need it to be. But Overqwil is our first Swift Swim user, and it's one of 2 Swift Swim users for us. It's the Dark and Poison type, which is a fantastic typing. We do get access to Spikes and Toxic Spikes to this Pokemon to use. 3 great abilities. 1 Swift Swim, right? We're getting really fast in the rain with 85 base speed. Nothing's outspeeding us. And 115 base attack. It is pretty strong, right? With Dark Stab and Crunch and Gunk Shot, or whatever it's, Barbrage, that what it is. It can hit relatively hard. There's a lot of Pokemon that, like, fighting types do kind of beat this mon, even though I'm not weak to fighting. I don't hit it super hard. But again, in the rain, oddly enough, a lot of fighting types actually don't like water type Pokemon, which I think is kind of funny. So we do get like rain boosted Liquidation and Aqua Jet. We get cool moves like Fell Stinger and Agility and Swords Dance. So we can't just go Double Dance, Intimidate if we want to. Another great ability also against Poison Point, which would be the one I bring the least, but it's still valuable, especially with Barbarage, right? If I want to bring Barbarage Poison Point, I can get the poison with that move and then I'm doing a ton of damage. And I just think this is a really cool Pokemon. This is the second one I've used before. I used it in a low 2 format, and it was great in a low 2 format. I only used it for a couple weeks. I think it's not going to be fantastic, if I'm completely honest, but It gave me a dark type I wanted. It gave me a grounded poison type which I wanted, so I can soak up toxic spikes, and it gave me a threatening Swift Swim user that people have to prep for. People have to consider a way, how do I check Overquill? Am I super weak to dark type? Am I super weak to poison type? Is my steel type going to die too early to things like Ursula Blood Moon or Annihilate, and then I'm going to have no checks to the poison type move? I think it's going to be cool. Lufa's rad. Next pick. Guys, we got Beartech, we got BP, we got the boy. This is awesome, and this is our third Terra Captain. I really wanted a second Terra Captain that was rain-focused, right? Laurentis isn't super rain-focused as a Terra Captain. Kilowattrel is, to an extent. It gives us Terra Flying Hurricanes with 100% accuracy, but I can go Terra Ice Thunderbolt, and that has nothing to do with the rain. I can go Terra Water, just strictly defensively with Terra Blast. That typically has nothing to do with the rain. I wanted a rain-based Terra Cap, and Beartech is that. Beartech has been making waves in OU right now, which is really funny to me. And and you can see why, right? It gets Snow Cloak, which I'm not allowed to use. It gets Slush Rush, which is Swift Swim in the snow. Not going to use that. I'm going to be using Swift Swim almost 100% of the time with this mon. And 50 base speed looks like it wouldn't be great. You'd think in your head it would only go to 100 base speed, but that's not the case. The calculations come after the EV, so I can go like max EVs and then it's Swift Swim. So now I'm outspeeding like 100 billion speed Pokemon with only a little bit of EVs, and I can still go Adamant, which is rad. 130 base attack, ice, stab. Like, not a lot resists to that. What resists that? Fighting types, I have Play Rough. Steel types, I have Close Combat. Speaking of Play Rough, we have Terra Fairy as one of our typings. We had to go Terra Ice. It's a stab type, which I'm not upset about. Terra Ice, 130 base power, like Sword Stance, Swift Swim, boosted Ice Whip Crashes are going to kill like half of the board. And then we have Terra Fairy Play Rough. Part of why I went Terra Fairy was because we didn't have a Fairy type yet at this point in the draft. Probably should have. That's okay. We are getting great Fairy type, but I'm not allowed to bring it often. You'll see why. Some of you know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to have like a Fairy type that I could bring consistently, even if it's just the threat of having that as a Fairy type, right? Draco Meteors cannot be spammed against me when Beartech is on the field. One, because I'm going to be able to kill you in turn. Two, because I have the potential to be Terra Fairy. And then we have Terra Water as our third Terra type. So it's a second Pokemon with Terra Water. That's probably the one I'd be willing to change the most, even though it's very good on Beartech. I do like the idea of Terra Ground or Terra Fighting with Beartech. I really like the idea of Terra Fighting Swift from close combats. That sounds really good to me, but we went Terra Water with 1 Liquidation, 2 Aqua Jet, giving me a really, really strong 130 base power Terra Water Aqua Jet. If I can get a Sword Stance up is very, very scary for a lot of teams. Especially because other priority moves like Ice Shard or Mach Punch are not super effective against me. The only thing that would really work there is like Thunderclap. And then if I stay an Ice type, I'm probably not going to die to 1, and then you die to an Icicle Crash, which is fantastic. I think Beartech's rad. He's also pretty bulky, right? 95 HP, 80 in both defenses. That's solid. Throw an AV on there. Love that item. It's sick. Guys, we got our Rain Setter. We got Pelipper. We got Calc Slang. If you use a calc, there's no slang. I was okay with either Rain Setter. I did want Pelipper more because it's the better Rain Setter, but I was okay with getting Politoed, honestly, which is why I waited so long for this pick. Politoed didn't get taken as I expected. I expected to get Pelipper, but I knew I could wait this long. Pelipper has now unlocked the potential of Beartech, Overquill, Kilowattrel, and or Chaladon with Electroshot. It is crazy. You know what it does. It gets Drizzle. I'm not really going to talk about it. It's Pelipper. And then we get Mr. Fairyman. I don't understand how we allowed this Pokemon for 2 points. It's an electric fairy type with 100% accurate Thunders in the rain. It has 200 stats in base stats in all of its stat things. What are those called? I guess all of its stats. 200 HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. We have Mr. Fairy Blast, which is a 600 base power fairy type move. I don't really understand why it was 2 points. I do find it unfair to bring to too many games, so it's probably only going to come to 1 or 2 games, if that. But this is just like the greatest Pokemon to exist, and I got it for 2 points at the end of my draft. I think this kind of wraps up our team perfectly. There are flaws in this team. Do not get me wrong. It is my average special defense stat is 73. That is not good. My highest special defense is 2 Pokemon with 90, guys, and then it's Beartick as my third highest Bedefmon at 80. Like, when Lurantis is your best specially defensive Mon, call it Annihilate because you get more HP, that is a problem. But I told you, we're going hyper offense and we're going bulky hyper offense. I will be living special attacks with Assault Vest Bloodmoon, with Assault Vest Ape, with Assault Vest Archaladon. Hazard removal. We have technically two. We have removal in T-Fog and we have swap in it with Court Change. Hazard setting is like okay. Part of why I do like Overquill is it's a great hazard setter. With Intimidate, like we can lower their attack. We're not too worried about dying immediately. We can get some spikes off. We can get some toxic spikes off. And then we have Rocks and Ape and Archaladon. We do have 4 Pokemon that are able to heal themselves with like things like Moonlight, Synthesis, or Roost, which is great. Momentum's fantastic. We do have Mr. Ferryman that has Volt Switch, and we have Kilowatcher with that as well. And then Pelipper, Kilo, Mr. Ferryman, Cinderace, and Ape all get U-Turn, which is fantastic. Status-wise, we have everything under the sun. Cinderace does get Will-O-Wisp, which people kind of sleep on, and Beartick does get Yawn, which is actually, I think, fantastic. Something's going to come in to try and take hits from Beartick. I Yawn when they're switching. They either have to, go to sleep, or they give me a free setup with Swords Dance or Sub or something like that, which is cool. With knockoff movers are like meh. It's Lurantis and Pelipper, but that is still a thing. We have a lot of disruption. We have 5 Taunt users. We have 3 Roar users. We have Haze and Overquill. We have Encore and Ape and Beartick. We have Dragon Tail and Archaladon. I think this team is sick. Oh, and Speechoos too. We have 125, 119, 101, 90, 85, 85, 65, and then 52, 50, 45. But we also have Rain Sweepers. So, I think our Speechoos fill every role we want to. We kind of lose Pokemon between that 65 and 85 stat. But I don't need a 70 base speed Pokemon. You want to try and outspeed Pelipper. Okay. You want to outspeed Ursaluna? Okay. Answer my Archaladon, which is still faster than you. Right? That's the squad. My voice is getting tired, and I'm getting tired. So I will see you guys in week 1. Let me know in the comments what you think of this team. My name is Matt. I'm the coach of the New England Roggenrola. Hopefully you knew that at this point. If you didn't, I don't know why you stuck around. I'll catch you guys in week 1. We play Vortex. Peace out, y'all.